Call meeting to order. Let the record show all board members are present. Do you have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Motion's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Recognitions? None. Delegations? Non-agenda items? We have two signed up to speak. May Panta, am I pronouncing that right? Okay, 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak here today. So I'm Maya Punta. I'm a senior at Woodrow, and I'm here to talk about improving STEM outreach. So I've been a student here since Crescent Elementary with a huge passion for science and math. And following that passion, I've had the opportunity to become the first student to proudly represent our county at the International Science and Engineering Fair and the National Junior Science and Humanities Symposium. But I certainly don't want to be the last person achieving these things. So I've been looking for a way to encourage our students to pursue STEM. Last year, I visited Crescent Elementary's 5th grade class to teach them how to engineer a paper tower. And they learned creativity, teamwork, failure, perseverance, and some even learned that they like engineering and had been inadvertently doing it in their homes all this time, fixing stuff in their garages, baking cakes, and so much more. And I heard this from Park Middle students as well, and Maxwell Hill students and Crescent students when I came to teach the next year. I also recruited more Woodrow Wilson students to teach at these schools with me. But here's the question. What's keeping so many of these passionate students from participating in science fairs and science clubs? You gotta think about it this way. Imagine having to write your own research paper from scratch, by yourself, and you're in elementary school, so you don't even know how. Or you have to design an experiment, or even know what a hypothesis is. And it's so difficult for our younger kids to know all of this, which is why our students need mentors. And that's where I come in. So I have 6 years of experience in our county competing in science and engineering. And I've already talked to students and teachers at both Crescent and Park to start science clubs. So I can one-on-one mentor students for their projects. And I'm going to start our first middle school science bowl competition team this year, mirroring the one that I lead at the high school level. I've concluded that we need to provide our students with tools to understand what a science path is and guidance to bolster their creative minds so our students can have the support to pursue their dreams. So I creatively launched a project called Maya's Project STEM this summer with the goal to teach students about science and mentor them if they want to do competitions. And actually, if you visit Raleigh County Library right now, you'll see at the front desk my science newsletters, which teach kids to make experiments out of household materials in their homes. I've given out hundreds of these this summer, and I've heard so much positive feedback from our local families. And now I'm here for my senior year, and I want to teach STEM lessons at not just 3 schools that I've already visited, but all 17 elementary schools and 5 middle schools in this county. I want to officially become a student STEM ambassador of the Raleigh County School Board. And with that title, I want to accomplish 3 things. First, I want to go to all of our secondary and elementary schools to teach them hands-on immersive lessons and tell them about the opportunities that are present within our county. Secondly, I want to mentor our science fair students and be there for them at the fairs if they need anything. And third, I want to recruit students from not just Woodrow Wilson, but our other 3 local high schools to become STEM leaders with me and go teach lessons. I hope that with this, I can help all levels of students discover their passions just like me. Thank you everyone for listening to my passion project, and I've left an extra minute for all of your comments and suggestions.
Good job. Only thing I would say, and you kind of mentioned there, you're a senior, and we don't want this to die when you leave. So hopefully, by recruiting juniors, sophomores, whoever that can take over next year when you leave to continue your work, I think is very important.
Yeah.
And so if you can do that and do all of the schools, high schools especially, so that program will get going and they can get the feeder schools involved. So that'd be my suggestion.
Yeah, I actually am the leader of my high school science bowl team. So we've got some sophomores and freshmen right now that while we're going on this year, I'm going to get one of them to take up the reins after I leave.
Okay, good deal. But
Thank you,
congratulations on everything, and thank you for your hard work.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Nice job. Okay, Vicki Billings. 5 minutes.
All righty. I have more of a question than really a statement. In Wyoming County, they have 3-hour delays when we have a snow day, and they count the same as a 2-hour delay. If we had a 3-hour delay instead of calling 2-hour delays, could we be in the classroom more than not? I realize we have some roads and things that are really hard to get up to, but a lot of times when they call a delay or call off school, I look out my window and I'm like, 2 hours later, we could have had school. It looks like it's melted off, at least in Midway, and it gets pretty bad in front of my house. And I'm not saying to do away with the 2-hour delays, just maybe could we have the 3 hours so we could get out of school in January, that would be great, wouldn't it? July or June, when we're typically supposed to. And can we use all of our snow packet days first? Because we had one that was left over. And I want to get out in June as soon as I can. I want to enjoy my summer. And I think it's important for the kids to be with their families, their brothers, their sisters, their moms, their dads, their aunts and uncles, vacations, and so on and so forth. I think that's important because in kindergarten and pre-K, we focus on play. And I'm like, let them go outside and play during the summer. And also, I noticed where Wyoming County had also applied for a waiver because they had some flooding. And I know we've had flooding in the past. Some of the students couldn't even get to school. Can we not apply for those waivers also so that we can still get out of school on the date that's on the calendar? And there was only 8 counties that applied for that waiver from the governor.
Thank you. Okay, moving right along. Communication reports. Dr. Hutchins.
Well, was by park. It's still kind of a mess over there, isn't it? Are they going to be finished with the outside before? Not even before school starts. Sorry.
No.
No. Okay. Okay. Well, one positive thing, and maybe I just haven't noticed it before, but that parking area there in front of the field and the women's club has been paved. Did we do that? We did that. I was wondering if we did it or the city did it. We did it. It's very nice. It's good because that was kind of bad through there anyway. And the track at Woodrow looks really good. So that's a real positive. Okay, I was just wondering. Sorry.
Need to apologize, but no, it's not going to be finished.
Ms. Smith. Ms. Hamrick.
No, the track is looking good. They're working on tennis courts too. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure, aren't they?
I know that they've
Like they were.
I know they've removed the fencing, but I don't know if they've started on the resurfacing yet of the tennis courts. Okay, so they're reinstalling. Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to Friday. Yes.
Mr. Snuffer.
Track, I've been also Woodrow, but I've been really involved in one at Liberty. Go up and check, and I'll talk to my friends up there. They have a good crew. Only one of them speaks English. And I went up there today, and I told Dr. Carter, I said, I don't know how the track is, but he said, see good. So I guess that's okay. But they've got that finished now. They've got the new fence. Liberty got a new fence on the football field because Mr. Dillon's not here now, but he was today. But he was kidding me because we had barbed wire still on the top of the fence down there, and I was telling him we were serious down there about people coming in. But they took all the old barbed wire down and everything, into like a prison now, and got the new black fence up. Looks really good. And they've got the posts up on the tennis courts. They're getting ready. The wire was there. I don't know if they got the wire up yet. They just unloaded it. I think it was yesterday. I was in there and unloaded it, and doing that. And then they were going to resurface it. I'm kind of interested because the one tennis court at Liberty is in really bad shape. The old one. It's got some major. So we'll see what magic I can run on that one. Do it there. Also, I went down and saw the new canopy at Fairdale. It looks very nice. They put that in. Got that installed down there. Looks good. And I could go into my feelings about Park and the gym there, but I probably shouldn't. Our vendor our contractor has a lot of trouble keeping his trash on site. I can tell you that from the big thing I pulled on my tire when I went around the thing there. I had a brick thing on there. So hopefully they'll get out of there and get that stuff cleaned up. The sooner the better.
Thank you. The only thing I have is I too went by Park. It's been about 2 weeks since I was there, and I went there today. It didn't seem like anything had changed. It's moving really slow. Yeah. Yeah. And
Well, I will say this: the old gym, they've been doing the pylons and stuff back there and working on that. Now I did notice some progress there, where the old gym was at. So that's a different thing.
And then in addition to that, I found out last week that I didn't pay a lot of attention in grade school because I was up in the New England states touring Plymouth Rock, and there is a Plymouth Rock, by the way. But I learned a lot that I either didn't pay attention to or forgot about. I don't know. Dr. Starcher.
Okay, board members, since we have talked about Park a little bit, I'll add to it. And Mr. Daniel can help me if I leave out anything. But so we rejected the floor at Park, the painting, the whitewash. Actually, that's what we rejected. So anyway, the gym was supposed to open this week, but it has not. The floor should finish tomorrow. We should have been able to use it tomorrow at this point. But on Monday, RM Huffman, it's a sub under Radford, will begin installing the wall pads and bleachers. So that's a 3 to 4 day job. So we're hopeful to be in the gym next Friday, just in time to open on August 26th. So right now we see no reason the students won't be able to be in there August 26th, but Park has had to begin athletic practice off-site this fall. So we're not very pleased
I guess my
with that.
question on that is, I mean, I understand maybe the gym inside, but they're going to, I mean, there's a lot of danger out there for students to be walking around that gym unless they get rid of a lot of brick and stuff and things clean up. There's a major cleanup's got to happen before you can have students walking in and out of that gym.
So I think I was over by there about a week ago, and there was scaffolding still up. The scaffolding is supposed to be gone, and the fire marshal has given us has worked with Radford, and I mean we are supposed to be able to use the facility. And in fact, we have to use the facility because the next part I'm going to tell you necessitates the use of the gym on August 26th. And that is phase 2 of the project, which you alluded to, but you alluded to the outside. There's an inside part to phase 2 that involves the ISS room and the band room. And unless something changes by Thursday with the progress meeting that we have, those rooms aren't going to be available for use. So Dr. Harris and park, we have no more space if we can't use the gym. The band, at this point, we're looking at the band would have to be in the auditorium, but PE has been in the auditorium, cafeteria area. So we're really, we're running out of space at park, and both projects are with the same contractor. So that is park. Now, what you see when you're looking, when you're standing and looking at park, you're looking at the gym, you see this brick area that's being built. That's the concession stand that we added on. That does not have to be completed before the fire marshal allows us to use the gymnasium. So you're seeing that as part of construction, but that's not affecting the use of the gym.
Work on that. I mean, you say they're going to take the scaffolding now. Well, they got to have that scaffolding back on there to finish that section. So they're going to move and take, or I mean, they're going to work on the weekends, or what's their plan, or after hours, or?
I think we'll know more specifically on that plan this Thursday.
Okay.
But yes, the fire marshal has worked with Bradford, and I think he's communicated with Mr. Daniel, Mr. Dillon to an extent about what doors we'll have to block off. Like there's a door kind of in the back left of the gym that is closest to the back part of the current park building. That door will be closed off. The back door coming out of park will be blocked off so that construction on the concession stand can continue while students are present.
The canopy that's coming up through there, what's that going to be? There's a canopy coming up the sidewalk there. That
I'm not sure. I don't believe that will be finished in time for school. No.
Okay. See on
They'll
that.
put up a temporary wall to keep students safe. Construction will happen on the other side.
Okay. Okay.
It,
Is
you know, all I can say to the board is I hope this project will finish this year.
Yeah. Well, I guess
I mean that in all
I guess my
sincerity.
next question is,
I do. I hope.
I guess my next question is, in writing this contract, and is there a liquidated damages clause of this thing on a date? Because I know they're way past any completion date we would agree to.
There is a liquidated damages clause, and I have already mentioned that in working with our architect and meeting with the contractor about assessing liquidated damages. So that is a factor.
Well, it just there doesn't seem to be a urgency. I mean, Charlotte said that she went back there working. I've been there. Some days they're working, some days there's not. Some there's nobody there. Maybe there's two guys there.
I'm just going to say I'm really not sure that it matters.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So that's park. I can't say it enough, just how much we appreciate Dr. Harris, the staff. This year could be more challenging to start since we don't, it appears we won't have band and ISS. And then we have the construction that is going on. It'll be challenging again, but the staff and the students, the families, they're really being patient. Gent, the flooring project is ongoing, but it's progressing well, but it is ongoing. Bradley's flooring project was completed. I just received notification of that today. You mentioned the tracks already. I would like to mention about the Stratton Tribute Space. It is coming along quite well. The high school portion of the case that pertains to the high school portion is complete. The elementary and junior high side, which is it's a smaller area, and it won't be filled with that history that you would see in the high school part. Hopefully by the end of September that will be complete. Our goal is that by the end of September, it's the whole tribute space is complete. But it's very nice. I'd like to have a ribbon cutting when it's completely complete. I realize some people, as they come in for the beginning of the year, they're going to see the high school section, but there's more to come. So I'd like to wait until it's final. Ms. Hamrick mentioned the wellness fair. It's from 9 to 2, I believe. So we would encourage all of our families and students to come out this Friday at the Beckley Raleigh County Convention Center. Mr. Dillon and all of his helpers, He's had many, but they've prepared an amazing fair again this year. So we encourage our students to come out. It's from 9 to 2. One thing that's always a big hit is the free haircuts provided by ACT, and we have a grant again from Arby's this year. I want to say it was just over $10,000 to support underwear and socks for those students who would need those. So anyway, you're encouraged to come out if you're able to this Friday. I want to thank Walmart and Kroger for their recent Stuff the Bus campaigns. It was very worthwhile for the school system. So we want to thank them for that. And then the last thing I would say is 2 weeks from today, school starts. So it was a quick summer. We're still running into issues and problems as we're getting ready to open back up. But Mr. Daniel, most of that falls in the maintenance area. So Mr. Daniel and his staff are working hard with, themselves as well as contractors and consultants to get us ready. So we'll be ready. But August 26th, it's regular schedule, and we look forward to seeing our students. Thank you. Have any questions?
I had just one question. Is the work that's going on opposite the tennis courts at Woodrow, is that the water line stuff still, or, I mean, they're tearing up Jack there. Yeah.
They're installing a sewer line, that is not us.
Oh, okay.
It's a 15-inch main sewer line running from the road over to the little general.
Well, they're doing it, that's for sure. Okay.
I need to mention my thing there. Also, I was out at Liberty when I was looking at those tracks and stuff, and they had an event day, and the students, there must have been 20 students out there landscaping the campus, which was really impressive. They were out there, they had bark, and they had the wheelbars, and they had the shovels, and they were out there working, and it was really nice to see all them. In other words, the students were taking pride, investing themselves in the school, and that was really nice. They were doing all that. And on those haircut things, my hair looked just like Larry before I went and got that free haircut. I'll let you know that. Just saying. You may want to check who the barber is that day. But no, yeah, but no. But I did think they need some recognition, and we can give it to them later on that. But that was an impressive thing for the students to, invest their, they didn't have to. It was a summer day for them. They came out and they did that.
Yeah.
It was good.
And I will say you should have each received this flyer as well for our back to school open houses. So we're ready. Our schools are ready. We had 3 days of training a couple weeks ago and ready to go. So thank you.
Okay.
All right, we're ready to go. No unfinished business. Policies and procedures. The following policies are to be placed on 30-day comment. A, revision of policy B.5.1, management.
President Ford and board members, the 3 policies you actually see here this evening that we're recommending to be placed on 30-day comment, those are all, these changes are all coming from recent changes in this state board manual that accompanies policy 4336 at the state level. So these are all transportation related policies. And I can go through each and every one of them, but all changes are coming from 4336 manual, and we would recommend they all be placed on 30-day comment. Do you have specific questions about any of the policies?
Yeah. So if I don't have any objections, can we vote on all those together? To have a motion?
I move we approve the policy and policies for 30-day comment. B5.1, B5.2, B5.3, based on 30-day comment.
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. These following policies have completed 30-day comment period. A, revisions of policy C.1.26, employee identification badges.
President Ford, this policy has completed the 30-day comment period. We received no comments, so recommend it be approved as presented.
Okay, y'all heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I move we approve policy C.1.26A, employee identification badges, after 30-day after proceeding this 30-day comment.
Motion's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. B, approve revisions of policy D.3.1, student attendance.
Again, this policy has completed its 30-day comment period. No comments were received, so we would recommend it be approved as presented.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. C, approve revisions of policy D.3.11, health promotion and disease prevention.
President Ford, no comments were received during the 30-day comment period, so we would recommend this be approved as presented.
Motion's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. D, approve revisions of policy D.3.12, HIV/AIDS education.
President Ford, no comments were received, so we would recommend this, or I would recommend this be approved as presented.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Motion's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. E, approve revisions of policy D.3.27, automated external defibrillator AED guidance for schools.
No comments were received. I recommend this be approved as presented.
Motion moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. F, approve repeal and replace a policy C.1.29, use of cell phones and electronic signaling devices in schools.
Board members, if you recall at our last board meeting, we talked about both C-129 and D-321. They're the same policy,
Yes.
just in the employee section and student section. So I'm going to recommend that we combine the action tonight on that. But we did receive 2 comments there before you in your packet. I've reviewed the 2 comments received, and while I respect the comments, some we can honor and some we cannot. So the comments received, the first comment came from a high school principal. The leadership team was asking to add exceptions to the policy, one regarding the use of phones for dual credit coursework, and then one for using phones for completing the FSA ID setup or other college-related tasks that require phone authentication. The law is very clear. There are exceptions to the law, and there are no others. And these 2 are not provided for in the law. So in order for us to have a policy that complies with state law, we cannot add these exceptions. So my recommendation,
Is that state law or is that state board policy? So
it's state law.
we can't ask for an exception to it then?
No.
Because I also heard that same thing from my granddaughter that lots of times they can't, because of our security, can't get through our firewall to do stuff on their dual credit and their college stuff. So they have to use their phone.
You are absolutely correct, but our legislature granted exceptions that we've placed all exceptions granted by the legislature through the law
Right.
in our proposed policy, and these are not provided. I went back and read it again just to make sure, but there's no room. You can either choose to not allow phones at all,
Right.
or you can choose to allow them and only grant the exceptions as we've placed in our policy. So in order for us to have a policy that complies with state law, again, as much as I appreciate this comment, I cannot recommend that we add that to our policy.
That's a shame because they seem like very valid. Right.
They're very
They
valid
very
concerns.
much are.
If you have a child or it's a student and they're doing some of the advanced stuff they're doing, they have to use their cell phone to be able to do that. Just about, because we can't,
Maybe they will revisit it and add.
and maybe that's something we could look at on our policy. So on them, somehow. on computers and stuff. So we'll have to look at that way.
Correct. On something we own.
Yeah,
Not on a
not
personal
something they
device.
own, something we own, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
unless, perhaps the legislature, if enough people have problems with this,
tweak it.
perhaps the legislature would tweak that piece of legislation, state code this
Yeah.
year.
Chris, you taking notes?
Yeah.
You would assume if Raleigh County schools, high schools were having problem with it, that it would be a problem because they
Correct.
have the same
Correct.
restrictions
Yeah,
on,
everybody does.
It's in the law.
yeah.
Miss Polly has a question, is raising her hand. I'm not sure. Is that okay, Mr. Ford?
What's that? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do know they have to log in with a different office. So they log in with an office through college, not their K-12. So that may be an issue, but
Mhm.
we may be able to look at something and figure
Yeah.
something out.
There was something we need to look at because that is a problem for those
I
students.
I absolutely would agree that it will be a problem. The other comments, they're stapled. So the third page of your packet there, let me say the fourth page, you'll see some that are X'd out. I don't think the individual meant to include those for us. So third page, this employee provided many comments, and I do, again, I respect let me just say, I respect the fact that both of these people took the time to submit a comment because we don't normally receive comments. So the very first item, high school students may also use a cell phone between classes. That is not allowed in the law. The new law clearly defines instructional day. If you recall, in our policy, instructional day, taken straight from the law, the period of time from the start of the first instructional period to the end of the last instructional period, including transition times between classes. And the law is very specific that the personal devices cannot be used during the instructional day. So again, I respect the comment, but we can't do that. 3.2, you'll see appropriate storage areas include pocket, purse. This individual thinks it would be better not to have it in pockets. In our policy 3.2, it says we define appropriate storage areas as locker, pocket, purse, or backpack when backpacks are permitted. So not all schools permit a backpack. Not all schools use lockers. So we're down to a pocket and a purse in some schools. So to meet the needs of all students, I believe we have to continue to allow a pocket. 3 point, go ahead.
I think the monitoring of that is definitely going to be a problem. It just is.
Mhm.
Some schools will do it to the letter, and some won't pay attention.
We had a lengthy discussion with our principals a couple weeks ago about this. And so I agree, and I would say they agree that it's going to be a challenge. But the alternative is to say no phones or no devices allowed. And this, I want to make sure we all remember that this isn't just cell phones. The law defines what an electronic device is, so it includes smartwatches. So the principals, this created a lot of discussion, but it's the law, and we'll follow the law. 3.5, some of these numbers don't align with the policy, and I don't know why, but when I figured out what this individual is referencing, when this person wrote 3.5 and 3.6, the person is actually talking about 5.2 and 5.3. So when you look at that, obviously all students are held to comply with policy D322, which is our expected behavior in safe and supportive schools. So depending what infraction it is to this person's answering these questions, it could be a level 1, a level 2, or a level 3, depending on the actual infraction. Not the use of the cell phone, but what is happening with the cell phone. So again, that's taken care of by the school administrators. So that's nothing to address here. 3.7, obviously, if a student is emancipated, then we would be working with that child with devices, but the law does not speak to emancipated children. 3.8, any repeat offense, is this too strict? The law tells us we have to identify what happens on the first offense, second offense, and subsequent offenses. So we've done that. We actually added a third offense. And I would anticipate that, this is for the year. So you get first offense, second offense, third offense. And then after that, the principal can choose to add days onto the OSS. 3.9, we were able to accept that comment. 3.9, from a licensed physician, we were actually able to change that language. I went back to the law. So I want to point out how we changed that. If you look at 3.5, letter A and 1, we changed 3.5A. This is one of the exemptions for medical purposes. And that second sentence says, in order to use a device for a documented medical person, the student must have on file at his or her school the following. And it says a student with an approved documented need as required by a medical doctor, licensed healthcare professional, or the IEP. So the law allows a licensed healthcare professional, not just MD or DO. And we actually made that change for our staff as well. If you look at 6.6 on page 3, we've added the licensed healthcare professional language instead of just identifying MD and DO. So we were able to accept that comment. The next two, the person was good with. 4.1, we didn't change. It's actually not 4.1. It's these numbers are incorrect on the comment. It's section 6. And that's the section that deals with employee use of cell phones. So our employees are not supposed to, this is not a change. They are not supposed to use their cell phones during the workday when they're supervising students or doing, their work. Obviously, much of what is in this comment is, if you're outside and you're needing to call into the building, I mean, you can do that, but we can't have teachers or staff abusing the use of a cell phone. So again, that's not a change in how we've been managing the use of devices. So I think it's best to leave it as written, because in 6.3, it already says misuse of cell phones or electronic devices will result in disciplinary action. So if a staff member is misusing it, it could be, a disciplinary action. Outside of that, if it's not being abused or misused, then we're okay. There was one other, I thought, give me a moment. Oh, no, it was the fact about the employee and the student. It was that change. So with all of that, we have reviewed these comments. And again, I want to stress, I appreciate people taking time to submit these comments. Unfortunately, I can't recommend most of them based upon the law. So what's in front of you for both C-129 and D-321 is what I would recommend to be approved. And just so you are aware, this week I will get assuming you approve this tonight, this week we will get a message out to all of our parents to let them know of this new policy. And then the principals will then send a message out next week to their individual schools about the new policy.
You can stress that it is legislatively mandated.
Absolutely, I will. Yes.
We don't want to get all the credit. We got to give Chris some.
So my recommendation is as presented before you this evening.
So basically, the only change in the policy that from the one that was on 30-day comment is the one about the medical professionals, right? Is that the only change that we actually had from the original policy? Am I correct?
Yes. For both, we changed the language a little for students and for staff.
Both things, but it's the same item.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'd move then we approve the policy C.1.29 and D.3.21 for cell phone usage in schools for students and for staff.
Second.
Motion moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, we have consent items A, B, C, D, E, and F. And G and H and I. Is there any objection to approving all those together? Can I get a motion?
I move we approve the consent items as were submitted to us.
Motion's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. New business. Consider approval of the request for exemption to the 4-year attendance requirements. Ms. Hodges.
Good evening. The principals, the high school principals, and I decided that it would probably be beneficial to the schools, the students and their parents and families if we tried to make sure that these exemptions were addressed and approved prior to the first day of school so that schedules wouldn't have to be rearranged after, a couple of days or a couple of weeks into the school year. So schools, they really wanted to do that. And so what you have are a total of 27 this evening. 25 of those are from Independence High School. Each of those are work exemptions. And 2 of those are virtual school students. One is a work exemption and one is a college exemption. And they do meet the requirements.
There's 25 of them Independence, and everybody wants it done before school. Where's the other 3 schools at? That's a simple question.
They knew that like tonight would be the first night. I know I spoke to several in the last couple of days and they were like, I thought those got on the pony to you before, the end of the year. And so they have them and you'll see them on the 26th, the first day of school.
Okay, first day of school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do I have a motion to approve request for exemption to the 4-year attendance? Motion's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. B, consider approval of the MOU between Raleigh County Schools and the RCSD for bus operator training, examination services. Anybody
Do it.
go?
I can do it. I was looking at Mr. Tony. I didn't know if he was coming up. Would you like to? Come on up. Thanks.
Good afternoon, President, Board, Dr. Starcher, and board members. The policy, what you see before you is the agreement we have with our MOU with our bus trainers. We've actually trained 3 new individuals, so now we'll have 5 actual trainers. We've had 5 individuals in class that should be certified by the 26th. We've got 3 that started Monday, so yesterday, and hopefully we'll have 8 by the time end of September. But this agreement that you see is just with our MOU with the SESC. Well, the first class, we started out with 11, now we're down to 5.
So Chris, are you saying that Raleigh County will have 5 certified Raleigh County trainers?
We currently do, yes.
That's good.
Any questions? Okay. Have a motion to approve the MOU?
I move that we approve the MOU with the SESC for bus operator training.
Second.
Motion's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approval of the Gear Up SWV grant subward contract with Concord. Ms. Hodges.
Good evening again. This year is our year 4 for Gear Up. The subaward grant this year is for a total of $230,000. A lot of the items that we're focusing on this year, the Gear Up group is 9th and 10th grade this year. So that's going to be very beneficial that our Gear Up coordinator can go to each high school. She is planning on doing a high school each day, and on Fridays or Wednesdays, however we work it out, like an office day to do paperwork, because there's a lot of paperwork with Gear Up. But she's going to be able to focus at each school at least one full day a week. Some of the things that we are looking at and including in this year 4 grant, the Gear Up funds are going to be able to pay for the paid version of the PSAT for 9th and 10th grade this year for the fall benchmark and the spring benchmark. Gear Up is also one of our high schools, Independence High School, had in their strategic plan last year worked on a couple of different things, and I asked if they would want to do or to be a pilot school for the mastery prep for 9th and 10th grade for that SAT preparation. And yes, they wanted to do that. So she proposed that for year 4, we would include mastery prep for 9th and 10th grade at Independence High School. Like I said, that was a pilot program. Also focusing on, last year we focused on math classrooms, just providing additional materials, things that they may need. This year, it is proposed that we will focus on science and social studies classrooms.
Any questions? Can I have a motion to approve the Gear Up?
I moved.
Second.
Motion moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Approve superintendent's recommendations for personnel 25-26 year.
Mr. Ford, we do have a couple of changes. On page 4, under special education teachers, letter A, we need to remove letter A regarding, it says clarification, effective 26-27 term, and then Bridget Davis is under that. We just need to remove that. You can see she was going to be held by another county, but that county has now decided to release her. So that's the reason for that. And then on the last page, at the very top, under letter B, recommended for appointment, we need to remove Robin Black. With those changes, my recommendation is as presented.
I've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I move we approve the superintendent's recommendations with the corrections that have been noted.
Second.
Motion's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Approve the following contractual services as needed for 25-26 school year. We need to read all those.
This is just a renewal, right? for most
Yeah,
of them?
yeah. I move we approve the contract services that are listed here. There are 9 of them as they're listed on our agenda for the coming year, 25-26.
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. We thank you for coming. That's all we have on our agenda. This meeting is adjourned.